As you know, the neighborhood councils are negotiating an MOU with the Department of Transportation.
I can't continue the MOU process with you because I don't know what kind of department we will have in the city of Los Angeles. In fact, I don't know what kind of city we're going to have after this current process is going through. And the process, I mean, is the Early Retirement Incentive Program, ERIP.
What early retirement meant was 2,500 people would be able to get benefits in which they had not fully paid for as an enticement to move on and create 2,500 salary vacancies that you didn't have to pay. The problem is you'd have to pay it later because that infusion of 2,500 people into the pension system is going to cause you to pay for them on the pension side versus having to pay for them on the salary side.
And these will be the most senior staff of the city of Los Angeles. People that could retire and maybe people that were close to retirement are now being bought out to retire.
In terms of getting everything to run, we can do some of this stuff with 90-day appointments, bring people back, etc., but we don't have the money for that. So the 90-day appointments, while they may be important for absolutely unique, critical job retention in order to maintain some institutional knowledge in a unique area, that will be appropriate, but departments will not have the flexibility in their salary account to do very much of that.
Me in the eye and say, Mary has left, but her functions are being carried on by Sue or by Tom. I mean, what about the reality of them flying the coop without us putting in place somebody that can do the job? Can we put it on hold until we get comfort on each one of these departments, be it planning, be it DOT, be it these others?
No, we cannot put it on hold.
Different. We've been through rough times before. We've been through rough times with extremely strong back leadership, though. At this level, I don't know, I brought the motion that was that went out yesterday that really bothered me. There was a motion made by, it was signed by Zine, Rosendahl, and Koretz. And they, it was more like, okay, we know that ERIP is going to take away all these people from the city. What do we do now? And it's like, well, okay, this motion is now that we're in the process of ERIP. And if any of you watched yesterday's council meeting, it was very sad to me because it was more like our leadership was reactionary, and yet they voted for something that would have an impact on them that, started at least 2 years ago. Carolyn listened to it, several of our staff watched it yesterday. I just couldn't bear to, because I realized that this is really what eats away at me is the fact that when we tell them that these things are going to happen, that somehow there's a denial factor that goes in. And then we become reactionary, but it's too late. And that's what bothered me a little bit about it. And that's exactly what I feel that we're dealing with, the reality deficit disorder. The reality is we have a house we can't sustain. How do we shave off enough people to make it work? And that's not only the revenue and payroll, but that's also with regard to the pension system. The pension system is in bad shape. And if any of you listen to Bernard Parks talk about this, he's the lone wolf, along sometimes with Greg Smith.
To give you an idea of the budget and why we're in the fix that we're in, over the last several years, the city, number one, has been very good to its employees. In the sense of not only salary but benefits. The other issue is the city at times has taken a tack of dealing with one-year solutions as opposed to multi-year solutions. And what we have found over time is that almost anything you do as it relates to, in the city's about 80+% of this budget is personnel, but anything you do in the personnel area drives 2 or 3 other major budget issues. If 80% of your budget is personnel, then when you look at workers' comp, when you look at pension, and you look at medical, those 3 items alone will end up bankrupting most government entities over the next several years unless they pull back and they're basically put in some perspective. We're driven on workers' comp primarily by state law, and with that state law, we are obligated in many instances to pay these benefits with little or no scrutiny. On the medical plans, they're getting more and more expensive, and as we've added elements to them, often there's not been a consideration of what those new elements and how they impact the pension later. Same thing with salary. The city's had a tendency in dealing with salary of not only giving people a base salary, but every benefit such as a step raise, a bonus, almost anything that's added to the salary is done by percentages and by pension base. And so it's a perpetual raise. As you move forward through your career, a 2% raise continues to grow as your base salary grows. If it's pension based, it goes into the pension system. To give you an idea of the current situation that we're in on the just on pension, is that right now, and this is general numbers, civilian pensions cost us about 18 to 20% for every dollar spent on salary of a civilian employee. We spend 18 to 20% in their pension. For police officers, at this time, it's roughly for every dollar of police and fire, it's roughly 25+% in pension benefits. Next year, and again, the pension, the city's contribution each year. July of each year, the city gives the pensions the city's contribution. The city, with those percentages, with the 20%, close to 20% for civilians, and 25+% for sworn, July 1st of this year, the city paid almost $500 million into the two pension systems. That was their commitment as to cost. The city pension systems both predicted for that year an 8% increase in the pension on benefits. When at the end of June 30th, they found they lost 20% on their portfolio. That's a 28% swing from what they projected to what they received. That means come July 1st of 2010, the likelihood is that the city's pension benefits for civilians will jump somewhere in the area of 30% or more. Police will jump to about 40%, and eventually, in 2 years, police and fire could go as high as 80%. So for every dollar of salary, pension will be 80 cents. That it's a commitment of the city on pension plans that the commitment is that it's not negotiable. It's not something that is done in the sense of a formula. It's basic math. If they don't hit their 8%, the city's on the hook for what part of the 8% they did not achieve. Every move you make on the personnel front has an impact on workers' comp, on medical plans, and on pension.